Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And today I want to take a look at the store sales and the featured shop, specifically the Infinity War booster pack, because it's a brand new offering in the store and a lot of people have been asking me for my take on it, and I have a bit of a mixed reaction to it. On the one hand, it's good in some ways, on the other hand, it's not good in other ways. So I wanted to give you a detailed breakdown. I wanted to give you some tips that you can use for future sales to better see the value in them for your account specifically. And then I want to give you an update to the question or the suggestion that I gave you a couple of days ago when I mentioned Storm as a World Boss Ultimate Striker. So we'll get to that a little bit later, but first let's jump into the Infinity War Booster Pack. So a couple of things that we need to get out of the way before we actually analyze the cost versus effectiveness. Of course, for the free-to-play players, this is not really an option for you. But if you ever decide to become a paying player or a supporting the devs kind of person, this is something that you can consider. Additionally, I am playing on an emulator which right now is showing the US prices, so all of these costs are in USD. A big part of what will make these packs affordable or non-affordable for you is what your local currency is and how it's converted. So very simply, for me, in Canadian dollars, these packs are actually worse than they are in US dollars. And it sounds a bit confusing, but when I do a dollar to crystal analysis and I see how many crystals you get per dollar, the per crystal ratio, or the how many crystals you get per dollar, is much better in USD than in Canadian dollars, which is my usual purchasing currency. So the power of your currency is also a really important factor to take into consideration when discussing these deals, and so I just want to put that out there. I'm not oblivious to the fact that certain countries will be paying a lot more money, whether it's in taxes or in some other way, even exchange rates compared to US prices. And I do think US prices are the best, for better or for worse. But basically the way that I want to break these down and the way that I think you should break them down to understand the value is, for crystals, you should divide it by the amount of money that it costs. So this one, actually all the packs in this setup are 110 crystals per dollar. And I think they did that intentionally to increase the value. 110 crystals per dollar is priced very aggressively. It's a very good deal in terms of how many crystals you're getting per dollar that you spend. And that's usually the best way to see whether a pack is worthwhile or not. Of course, the Stark Stash beats all of these by a mile. But for comparison, the 3-year anniversary pack, even though it has 1,200 crystals, it's up to 120 crystals per dollar. So it's actually even better than the Infinity booster packs. So if you're strictly looking for crystals, of course the Stark Stash, but also the 3-year anniversary pack is good. For strictly crystal purchases, you can also consider the offer for Agents number 2. This is technically the #1 deal in the store for crystals. This will give you 123 crystals, 123.3 crystals per dollar that you spend, which is the absolute maximum. But then you have to start to consider the other items that you get. In this case, you get 100 bios and 100 Nornstones, and then for the other purchases, you get other things. We're going to be focusing on the Infinity War booster pack, but I do have to say that the items that you get are primarily more valuable for early to mid-game players. Veterans have very little use for biometric selectors because they have almost all the characters that they want tier 2 or 6 stars already. And at this point, frankly, I'm only using my bio selectors that are going to expire from Shadowland to get characters bios for potential uniforms. I don't even require biometrics for characters normally anymore. It's just if I think they're going to get a uniform. So I've been building up bios through Shadowland for Hulkbuster, War Machine, Star-Lord, and Rocket Raccoon based on that teaser that we got for part 2 of the Infinity War. So I do think that there is a skew, and I definitely think that these packs skew, and they tend towards being much more valuable for an early to mid-game player. I would say, someone who's been playing for a year or less non-stop. I think if you've been playing for more than a year non-stop, you should be at the point where this is not as attractive to you. But you do get a smattering of different options. You only get 300 black antimatter and 300 chaos Nornstones, which is a bit low. This price range as itself, if this was a standalone pack, it would be very good, but the fact that you have to buy the previous 2 items is not as good, because for example, you might really need Chaos Norn Stones and Black Antimatter, but you really don't need Bios or Norn Stones. So this pack becomes less attractive to you than the others. But the crystal cost is always competitive, so that is good. The last thing you do need to think about is how much gold you're getting. And this is where a lot of people are getting tripped up. And a lot of people are thinking that this is a very, very good deal because it goes up to 20 million and then it goes up to 60 million. In total, you get 100 million gold for all of the purchases, and in American dollars it's 150, 180, 190, 195 dollars American. So it's roughly $200, and you get 100 million gold on top of all the crystals, more than 20,000 crystals, or about 20,000 crystals, and all the other goodies. For the gold specifically, I would value gold at about 2.5 million gold per 100 crystals. And that's a figure that I've calculated based on the fact that we get quite a lot of gold for free just by playing co-op, by playing daily missions. Daily missions, you get between 300 and 500,000 gold per run of the mission, including, you know, boost points and a gold booster. On top of that, you do have the gold booster in the shop. If you're unfamiliar with this, guys, if you go into the featured shop and you go under consumables, you can purchase a 3-day booster 100% for 365 crystals. So that is a good way of gauging the value of gold for you. I've purchased it recently to use it on stream and to show my viewers, some of you, and the boost point to kind of combine with that and give me additional gold, and I'm pulling about 1.1 million every day just from daily missions. So if you refresh that and it costs 150 crystals, you can start to see the math. But I would equate it to about 2.5 million gold per 100 crystals. So that means that the first purchase here gives you less than 100 extra crystals. Once you get all the way to the end, however, with 60 million gold, you're looking at an additional 2,400 crystals worth of gold. Now that seems like a really good deal, because if you calculate that gold into crystals, you're up to, you know, 20 or 13,400 crystals, almost 14,000, which is improving the value and that crystal per dollar figure that I gave you earlier. But that also kind of begs the question, do you need that much gold that urgently? If you really need 60 million gold suddenly, it's probably because you're rushing your account and you're trying to build it up super fast, and you're probably spending a lot of money in other areas too, getting mega tier 2 tickets, mega mythic uniform tickets. So this might be the case, but in that situation, you're going to be spending a lot of other money in other areas. So it's kind of something you should consider for yourself. I think on average, players can grind out about 4 to 5 million gold per day normally by playing the game mode, if they have access to all game modes, if they have their co-op level at stage 6. So that would be like playing for more than a year. If you're more aggressive, if you have a boost subscription, if you have the 3-day 100% gold booster, you can be grinding more than 10 million gold a day. So this is less than a week's worth of gold for me when I'm really trying my best to grind gold. So I don't see too much value in it, and it only costs me about 360 crystals per 3 days that I'm doing that. So it's about 700 crystals that I'm investing. The other big value here is the Mega Rank Up ticket. The Mega Rank Up ticket plus the Mega Mastery ticket is worth about 2,400 crystals. It's not quite 2,600 because you get those other value items from it when other people purchase the pack normally, but that's around how much I would rate it, between 2,000 and 2,400 crystals. So this pack is honestly very, very good. Again, if this was a standalone pack being offered by itself, I would say just straight up buy it. It's great. But the fact that you have to buy this one, you have to buy this one, and you have to buy this one does kind of dent the value of that previous pack, because instead of wanting to invest $50 and investing $50, you have to invest almost $100 to get what you really wanted. So that's where I think people can get a little bit tunnel vision. They see one thing that they really want and they get it. Meanwhile, they're not calculating the full cost of everything that comes before it. The last thing I want to discuss as far as this booster pack is the tier 2 character selector. Now this is actually better than a tier 2 ticket, which you get for free every month by logging in for 30 days, because this, I believe, will take a character up to tier 2 as long as they're 6 stars, even if their gears are not 20. I might be wrong about that. I don't remember the last time I used one of these on a character, but if that is the case, then yes, it is better than a tier 2 ticket normally, which we get for free. However, this will not work on bio subscription characters. It will not work on X-Gene characters like Magic and Colossus. It's not going to work on premium characters like the Ultimates, but it will work on A-Force and farmable characters and bio-selector characters, but you shouldn't use it on farmable characters because most of them are half cost for tier 2. You should leave it to A-Force or bio-selector characters that you can get through those means like Shuri or something like that. So that is my analysis of the Relay Store pack, the Infinity War Booster Pack. I think for some people it'll be a great purchase and it'll be worth the investment, but I think those specific players are a very small portion. I think for those of you that are kind of mid-level purchasers, maybe the first couple of packs, maybe even up to the 3rd pack or the 4th pack might be good enough, but I wouldn't go all the way unless you really, really need all of these things and you're not going to use anything else for it. Because in a lot of situations, if you have the patience and you can grind the gold, the crystals are nice, the tier 2 selectors, whatever, but if you compare that one to the 3-year anniversary pack, you're getting over 1,000 Chaos Nornstones and Black Antimatter. That's going to really accelerate your epic quest. It's going to let you tier 2 new characters. It'll let you take characters to level 70 or gear 25 faster. So it's much more flexible than just a tier 2 selector for a character that you have gears at 16 or something like that, and it's slightly fewer crystals. Finally, I wanted to discuss briefly the interaction in World Boss Ultimate Proxima with Storm and other lightning characters. So this is a pretty interesting thing that I've seen some mixed reactions and mixed information about, so I wanted to set the record straight. I tested it out yesterday on the live stream, and the results are inconsistent but good for Storm. If Storm is on your team, that means she's one of the 3 members of your World Boss Ultimate team, then you will have a 50% chance, which is the 50% chance to become immune to lightning damage. You have a 50% chance to be immune to the purple spear damage. Those are those purple circles that appear that will kill you or do a lot of damage to you if you don't dodge them. And those are probably the thing that makes World Boss Ultimate Proxima the most difficult. So if you're having trouble clearing it with a specific team and you can afford to swap out one of the characters for Storm, she will give you a fighting chance, but only against the purple spears. It doesn't appear to provide any immunity against any of her other spear skills, which means that her other skills are just doing straight up energy damage or physical damage, but no actual lightning damage. Now, here's where it gets confusing. Other characters that offer lightning immunity or that have lightning resistance will not have the same effect. So for example, Thor's leadership offers lightning resistance. That does nothing to reduce the damage of the purple spears, and it does nothing to make you immune to the damage of the purple spears. There's lots of characters who, as a striker, will give you 20% lightning resistance, like Thor, like Storm, like Nebula. None of those characters, even if you stack them all, I had 150% energy or lightning damage resistance. Yeah, didn't do anything to reduce the damage of the purple spears. Finally, another odd thing is that Groot with his universal uniform, I gotta find him real quick, he has an option on it. Wow, where is, oh yeah, he's level 70, so he's up here. Groot with his Throot uniform, the Secret Wars Thor. If you don't remember, it has a uniform bonus that gives Groot a 100% chance to become immune to lightning damage. Now that wording is exactly the same as Storm's 50%. However, for Groot Thor Groot, it does not work. Groot has a 0% chance to reduce or dodge or become immune to the purple spear damage. So it's very inconsistent in that situation. He should not take any damage from the purple spears, which would make him a very interesting character to play against Proxima. When you see the purple spears coming, you could just switch and just stand there, and he would just absorb all the damage and not get hurt. But he will get killed, and he will not become immune to anything at all regarding those purple spears. And of course, all the other damage he'll take normally as well. So those are my findings for Storm and the lightning resist characters, and Groot with his Secret Wars uniform for World Boss Ultimate Proxima. Having Storm as a striker will not cut it. You have to have her on your team, but that is my tip for you if you're still struggling with World Boss Ultimate and you wanted to understand the interactions with these lightning resists and lightning immunities. So let me know what you guys think of the Ultimate or the Infinity War Booster Pack. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. Hit the bell if you don't want to miss any of my content. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.